So our first story is A Rose for Emily by William Faulkner. So Faulkner is one of the finest Southern writers and perhaps one of the finest American writers of the 20th century. And he's very critical of the South, even though he's from Mississippi. And so a lot of people point to A Rose for Emily as a story that illustrates his belief that the Old South was dead. And we see evidence of decay in A Rose for Emily, in the way she approaches death, in the way she locks herself up into that old house with just Toby there. Poor Toby, having to put up with that. And in the way the town treats Miss Emily, they see her as a relic, as an icon, as a symbol of what used to be. But they don't really know Emily. I don't know if you noticed that. But they don't really see her as a person, just as a symbol. And so, so we have Emily, who is also a Gothic character in the sense of being atrocious and outrageous and a distortion of what we should be as people. Notice she really doesn't even think of Homer as a person. He's an object to own or to possess. And when she feels that he will leave her, which he will, she makes sure that he can't. And then she keeps him. So the other interesting thing is the narrator of the story. So as you read or as you look back over it, really think about who is this narrator. It's not a narrator that we're normally used to seeing. We're used to either an omniscient narrator who knows everything. This narrator doesn't know everything. The narrator doesn't know what has happened to Homer until they go up and go into the room and find him. So it's not an omniscient narrator. It's a very limited narrator. Can only give us really one perspective. And so what you want to think about is, what is that perspective? Is it a person or is it a group? And that is another thing that makes the story really, really interesting. The other thing that I'll have you discuss is how the story is told. So we're used to a once upon a time story that starts at the beginning, goes through the middle, and then gets to the end. But that doesn't happen here in this story. In this story, we find out right away Emily's dead. She's died. So in some ways we start at the end or very near the end, because notice they don't go into the bedroom until she's safely in the ground. So even at that, they're trying to give her some kind of respect, right? But so we begin almost near the end, and then our narrator kind of goes back and fills in details to help us understand the kind of person Emily is and what has made her the kind of person that she is. And then, allegorically speaking, this is also a story about decline of the Old South, the pre-Civil War South, and the kind of class and caste system that was evident. So I hope you enjoy this story. It's a really fun story, and I don't think it's really super difficult to read, although sometimes Faulkner can be a little dense. I think this story is very accessible, and so I hope you enjoy it.